As much as I appreciate and advocate for passenger rail, even I will admit that it has one glaring flaw that needs no introduction: its timeliness. Everyone familiar with Amtrak has either experienced or heard a horror story of a train arriving hours or sometimes even a day behind schedule.
Late again!
Whether it be from harsh weather conditions, equipment failure, or the freight railroads just not being very nice. But if there was one silver lining in this very dark cloud, it's that a late train provides a rare opportunity for rail fans like myself to see Amtrak in areas that it normally only passes through in the dead of night. And over the course of 2024, I've managed to catch several examples of these unfortunate expresses, all of which are Amtrak train number 6, the eastbound California Zephyr, headed for Chicago. The first Zephyr that I caught this year was on January 21st in the late afternoon. Unfortunately, this train was very badly delayed all the way from the start, departing Emeryville hours behind schedule and only getting worse as it went on. However, this allowed for an ample opportunity for me to catch it in daylight down at Lincoln Station just before the sun went down. After an hour of waiting while catching passing freights, the horn of the approaching Zephyr could be heard as it rounded the bend with an unusual consist of 3 locomotives rather than 2. On top of the Genesis trio, the lead unit turned out to be an older model P40, some of which have already been retired and sold off. Sadly though, this was not the end of this train's troubles. It arrived in Chicago late that night, but several days later, some of the same locomotives were heading back west when they hit a truck in rural Colorado and derailed. And from what I know, most, if not all of those locomotives have been placed out of service ever since. This would be the last Amtrak train that I caught for several months, all the way until August 22nd. The night before, I had made a plan to catch a 10-hour late Zephyr in Lincoln that afternoon, but I did some other rail fanning around the area that morning, which I've made a video about previously. And as planned, I made it to the station again about an hour before the scheduled arrival, with more freight watching in the meantime. Today's train had another special catch, that being the trailing unit, which was recently painted in the fresh Phase 7 scheme. This third train, which is the last major one of this video, turned out to be the least delayed of all the Zephyrs I've covered so far, arriving in Lincoln just at a staggering 4 hours late. How nice, totally. All the same, it was still enough to catch this train in the early morning light, not long after 7 a.m. And only a few minutes after the Zephyr cleared the area, the freight trains continued to pass through on BNSF-owned trackage. In the months since this catch, I've only seen one other Zephyr, which came through on October 25th, nearly 6 hours behind. I've shown that in another video, and it is so far the most recent Amtrak train I have seen. But there are many other Zephyrs that came through Lincoln this year that I did not see, whether it be because my schedule simply didn't work out for it, or on some occasions they were so late they arrived the night after they were supposed to. It's no secret Amtrak delays have been an ongoing issue. They have been for many years. And as much as I like seeing a train that is common almost everywhere else, I would rather see a Zephyr on time, helping keep train travel a relevant, reliable option in the present day.